Are you accidentally drinking heavy metals with your morning shake? Every day, millions of people scoop protein powder into a shaker, swallow it, and walk out the door believing they did something good for their body. What if that very scoop is quietly carrying lead, cadmium, or arsenic, and the label gives you no warning at all? If you want to stay one step ahead of what is really inside the products you use every day, tap subscribe and turn on notifications right now. This entire breakdown is the kind of detail no brand will ever put on the front of the tub. Why the US protein market quietly failed the people who trust it most. In the United States, supplement companies are largely responsible for testing their own products, and most of them choose not to commission independent verification on top of that. The Clean Label Project, a third-party consumer advocacy lab, ran analyses on 134 popular protein powders and reported measurable levels of heavy metals in roughly two-thirds of them. About 47% of those top-selling products exceeded federal or California safety thresholds for at least one toxic element, according to their published study. These are not niche brands hiding online. They sit on Walmart, Target, GNC, Whole Foods, and the supplement shelves of every gym bag in America. 7 brands deserve a serious second look today. 2 brands actually passed the independent testing that exposed the others. Let's go through all of them. Number 7. Body Fortress Super Advanced Whey Protein. This is the budget tub, the bottom-shelf Walmart option that costs roughly half what premium brands charge. And that is exactly why it ends up in the hands of college students, budget lifters, and athletes working to hit their daily protein target without draining their bank account. The price is the entire pitch. Most buyers never check who actually makes it. Body Fortress is owned by Post-Consumer Brands, the parent company behind breakfast cereals like Frosted Mini Wheats and Honey Bunches of Oats. Protein powder is not their core business. It is a product line extended into a high-demand category where cutting costs on formulation makes obvious financial sense. That context alone is worth keeping in mind before you look at what is inside the tub. Now the deeper issue, protein spiking. Standard protein testing measures nitrogen content and uses that number to back-calculate total protein on the label. The problem is that cheaper free-form amino acids like taurine, glycine, and creatine also contain nitrogen. When a manufacturer pads the formula with those amino acids, the nitrogen reading climbs, and the printed protein number climbs with it, even though the actual functional whey has not changed. The label looks stronger. The product has not improved. Body Fortress was named in federal class action lawsuits that specifically alleged this practice. Plaintiffs' filings claimed that, when products were independently tested for actual whey protein content rather than total nitrogen, functional protein was materially lower than the label promised. Parts of those claims survived initial court review, and the related litigation resolved through settlement. The product stayed on shelves with reformulated labeling. A college athlete scooping this twice a day because the label reads 50 grams of protein per serving is building their recovery math on a number a courtroom has already called into question. They are not being careless. They are working with information the brand controls. Number 6. Isopure Zero Carb Protein Powder. This is the one the keto crowd reaches for automatically, and the one many people managing metabolic health reach for when they want protein without affecting blood sugar. The zero carb, zero sugar mark on the front is not just a feature. For someone tracking every variable that touches their daily glucose response, that zero is the reason they chose this product over everything else on the shelf. Flip the tub and read the sweetener system on the back. Sucralose is listed. Acetylfame potassium is listed. 2 artificial sweeteners sitting together in a product bought specifically by people watching every input that touches their metabolic response. The zero on the front of the package refers to carbohydrates. It does not refer to sweeteners. That distinction is not explained anywhere on the packaging. And for the audience this product is marketed to, it is a distinction that genuinely matters. Independent research points directly at these sweeteners. A 2022 paper in the journal Cell reported that sucralose and saccharin altered gut microbiome composition and impaired glycemic responses in healthy human subjects. Some participants showed blood glucose elevations from sucralose that researchers described as comparable to responses triggered by actual sugar. A separate 2023 study in Nature characterized sucralose as an immunomodulator at high exposure. These are not fringe findings. They are peer-reviewed in two of the most respected scientific journals in the world. For someone drinking Isopure every morning because zero carb implies zero blood sugar impact, this is not a footnote. It is directly relevant to the daily decision they are making based on what the label communicates. The European Food Safety Authority has formally called for additional human safety data on acesulfame potassium. Zero carb is not zero questions. Number 5. GNC Amplify Anabolic Protein. This is the premium shelf option, the one serious athletes pick up at GNC because the specialist store environment implies a specialist standard. Walking into GNC carries a specific implication. This is not the grocery supplement aisle. The Amplify line sits near the top of GNC's own protein range, with higher price, performance-forward language, and an unspoken promise that what is on this shelf cleared a bar the mass-market brands never had to clear. Here is what that specialist verification actually looked like in practice. In 2015, the New York State Attorney General's office sent cease and desist letters to GNC and other major retailers after independent DNA testing found that herbal products sold under various store brand labels did not contain the botanicals on the label at the concentrations claimed. GNC's own store brand products were part of those findings. The resulting agreement required GNC to implement new testing and verification protocols that exceeded current FDA requirements. That investigation centered on botanicals, but the takeaway is bigger than any single product. One of the most trusted specialty retailers in America was selling labeled products that an independent state-level investigation found did not accurately reflect their contents. The specialist was not running specialist-level verification. That is the foundation the premium price was built on. Then look at the Amplify ingredient list. Sucralose is there. Acesulfame potassium is there. 2 artificial sweeteners sitting in a product sold to athletes making deliberate decisions about every input they consume. The artificial flavoring is listed as a proprietary blend with sources not disclosed. An athlete paying a premium price specifically to control their nutrition inputs has no visibility into the flavoring compounds they are drinking every day. Premium price, specialist store. Undisclosed flavor sources, a state-level labeling investigation in the background. Paying more at a specialty retailer does not guarantee getting something cleaner. Number 4. Organic protein powder. This is the one families trust. You can find it at Target and Whole Foods at the same time, which is not an accident. That dual retail presence is the entire positioning strategy. Sit at the healthy end of accessible. Reach the mainstream shopper and the health-conscious shopper in one shelf turn. The founder is a physician and cancer survivor. That origin story is genuine, and it clearly resonates with the people who buy it. The USDA organic seal on every container delivers exactly the signal health-conscious parents are looking for. The tub goes in the cart without the rest of the label getting read, because the seal already feels like the answer to any question worth asking. Here is where that assumption breaks down. Independent testing reported by outlets including Consumer Reports, alongside aggregated data from the Clean Label Project dataset, has flagged detectable levels of lead and cadmium in organ plant-based protein powders. Please let that land for a second. If it is labeled organic, how does it contain heavy metals? That confusion is actually the single most important thing to understand about this product category. Heavy metals are naturally present in agricultural soil. They have accumulated through decades of industrial activity, natural geological processes, and runoff from surrounding land. Plants absorb them through their root systems as they grow. Organic farming prohibits synthetic pesticides and chemical fertilizers. That is meaningful and worth recognizing. But it cannot stop a plant from absorbing whatever heavy metals were already in the ground before the seed went in. A pea plant grown on certified organic land in soil that contains lead will absorb lead. The certification documents what was applied to the land during farming. It says nothing about what was already there before farming began. Pea protein and brown rice protein, the two primary protein sources in Organ's plant-based formula, are among the most consistently documented sources of elevated heavy metal content in this entire product category. Number 3. Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard 100% Whey, the single best-selling protein powder on the planet, not just in America, on Earth. Optimum Nutrition built that position across decades of consistent marketing, near-universal retail availability, and a price accessible enough to make it the default starting point for gym beginners, plus the long-term comfortable habit for experienced lifters. Walk into almost any gym, any supplement store, any big box retailer with a health section, and Gold Standard is there. The name does serious work before the lid even comes off. Gold Standard implies a ceiling, the reference point everything else in the category gets measured against. Worth knowing before anything else, Optimum Nutrition is owned by Glanbia, a large Irish multinational nutrition corporation managing multiple supplement brands across global markets. The Gold Standard name belongs to a corporate product portfolio, not an independent lab with a singular focus on what is in each tub, and the incentive structure is different from what the brand's small batch heritage positioning might suggest. Open the tub. Sucralose is in there. Acetylfame potassium is in there. The same two artificial sweeteners that showed up in the GNC product, sitting together in the same formula in the protein powder more people consume daily than any other on Earth. The double rich chocolate flavor, one of the best-selling in the line, carries a flavor system the label describes only as natural and artificial flavors. What those compounds are, where they come from, and what their effects look like at this scale of daily consumption across millions of users. Not on the packaging, and the brand is not required to provide it. Now here is the detail that matters most for anyone who bought this specifically because they noticed a certification on the label. NSF Certified for Sport appears on some Gold Standard products, not all of them. The certification varies by flavor and by retail channel. Someone buying a tub at a warehouse club store is not necessarily getting the NSF certified version. The brand name is identical. The tub design is identical. The certification status is not. Think about how many people picked up Gold Standard specifically because they saw NSF Certified for Sport on a version of this product somewhere, assumed it applied to the entire line, and have been buying uncertified tubs ever since without realizing. The world's best-selling protein powder is not the world's most consistently tested one. Most people buying it have no idea those are two different things. Number 2. Vega Sport Premium Protein. This is the one plant-based athletes trust most, and the story behind the brand is genuinely unusual in the supplement industry. Brendan Brazier was a professional Ironman triathlete who could not find a plant-based protein formula that held up to what elite endurance training actually demanded. So he built one himself. That founding premise is real, and it built real loyalty among vegan athletes and health-conscious consumers who trusted the brand, because the person who created it had direct personal stakes in whether it performed. That kind of origin is rare in a space where most brands are built by marketing teams, not by athletes solving their own training problem. Then the ownership changed. Vega is now a product line within a major international food corporation whose primary business spans conventional dairy and large-scale packaged goods. The branding still carries the founder's story front and center in marketing. The ownership structure is now a multinational food company whose day job is producing conventional dairy products. The independent athlete-founded company became a line item in a corporate portfolio. The person whose face and story sell this product is no longer the person responsible for what goes in the tub, and that transition is not on the label. Then the independent test results came in. Consumer Reports flagged Vega Sport Premium Protein as a plant-based powder that contained elevated lead levels in their published testing. Clean Label Project's broader study also flagged plant-based formulas of this kind among the highest heavy metal concentrations in the entire category. Lead and cadmium turned up in recipes with pea protein and brown rice protein as primary ingredients. Number 1. Muscle Milk Genuine Protein Powder. It is in every gym, every GNC, every Walmart supplement aisle. The chocolate shake in the clear bottle. The brand that became synonymous with post-workout recovery for an entire generation of American athletes. High school, college, recreational, professional. Muscle Milk did not get there through niche targeting. It got there by being everywhere, recognized by everyone, and bought on autopilot by millions of people who equated the name with legitimate sports nutrition. For a lot of lifters, Muscle Milk did not feel like a supplement. It felt like a standard part of training, like a gym bag or a water bottle. That level of cultural recognition is exactly why this needs to be stated plainly. Consumer Reports tested Muscle Milk in 2010 and reported that in 3 daily servings of their Muscle Milk Genuine Protein Vanilla Creme flavor, the product contained both lead and arsenic at concentrations that exceeded California's proposition, 65 daily safe harbor limits of 0.5 micrograms per day for lead and 10 micrograms per day for inorganic arsenic. Not one heavy metal slightly over a threshold in a single product. Both lead and arsenic in the same product being consumed twice a day by people who believed it was helping them recover. The company disputed the methodology at the time. The product line stayed on shelves. The athletes kept drinking it. Here is why a 2010 test result still matters 15+ years later. Heavy metals do not clear the body between workouts. They accumulate in tissue over time. Lead concentrates in bone. Cadmium concentrates in the kidneys. Arsenic concentrates in skin, hair, and nails. A reading that clears a single exposure threshold becomes a different conversation entirely when that exposure is happening twice daily, every day, for months or years. In someone whose entire goal is to build and repair tissue as efficiently as possible, the accumulation works in the exact opposite direction of what the product is supposed to do. You are trying to build. The metals are stacking up in the process. After the Consumer Reports findings, independent testing continued to detect heavy metal content in Muscle Milk products. Clean Label Project's comprehensive study flagged Muscle Milk across multiple testing metrics. The brand has never published comprehensive, independent, third-party heavy metal testing, results in a format that lets a consumer actually verify anything. Not a published lab report, not a third-party audit with accessible results, nothing a buyer can look up and check. If this video has already changed which tub you reach for tomorrow, do one thing right now. Shoot it to one person who trains hard and trusts whatever is sitting on the gym shelf. That single share is what pays for the next deep dive like this one. Now that you know what to avoid, here is where the investigation becomes useful. 2 brands submitted to independent testing that exposed everything the others sidestepped. Both passed the bars that matter. Here is what passing actually looks like. Best pick number 2. Garden of Life Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein. If you use plant-based protein, and everything you just heard about Vega Sport and Oregon has you looking at the tub on your counter differently, this is the answering line. 4 independent certifications on a single product, not 4 logos assembled for a marketing campaign. Each certification required submitting the product to a separate third-party organization for its own independent audit, its own laboratory process, and its own ongoing compliance schedule that does not end after first approval. You cannot buy placement on these lists. Brand submits, the product gets tested, and it either passes or it does not appear. USDA Organic Certified, Non-GMO Project Verified, NSF Certified for Sport, Informed Sport Certified, a separate European anti-doping credential used specifically by professional athletes competing under international frameworks. 4 organizations, 4 independent audits, 4 separate sets of standards that all have to be met continuously, not just once at launch. No sucralose, no acesulfame potassium, no artificial flavors. The protein sources are certified organic pea protein combined with sprouted grain and legume proteins. Critically, the NSF Certified for Sport requirement specifically includes heavy metal screening that directly targets the contamination concern that flagged both Vega Sport and Organ in independent testing. Garden of Life Sport went through that exact test. It passed for anyone buying a plant protein because the labeling implied comprehensive safety. Best pick number 1, Thorne Whey Protein Isolate. This is the strongest recommendation on this entire list. And before anything else, the certification on this product is worth explaining properly because most people do not understand what it actually represents. NSF Certified for Sport is not a label a company decides to put on its own packaging. It is not a claim a marketing team writes after checking an internal spreadsheet. It requires physically submitting the product to NSF International for controlled independent laboratory analysis. NSF screens for over 270 substances banned in professional sport, verifies that what the label says is in the container, and includes direct heavy metal screening for the exact issue that flagged multiple brands on this list. The brand does not run these tests. An independent external organization does. The results are published by that organization, not by the company selling the product. That distinction is everything. Thorne Whey Protein Isolate carries that certification consistently across every batch. No sucralose, no acesulfame potassium, no artificial flavors from undisclosed sources. The ingredient list is short enough to read in under 10 seconds. Protein content is independently verified, not self-reported. Heavy metal screening is documented by a third party, not implied by a promise on the packaging. Thorne supplies supplements to professional sports organizations, including Major League Baseball and the PGA Tour. Those organizations do not choose supplement partners based on label design. They choose based on testing documentation that holds up under professional anti-doping scrutiny, where a failed test ends careers and triggers formal investigations. Thorne clears that bar consistently, which is why organizations with that much at stake keep trusting it. For someone going through cancer treatment whose body cannot handle additional toxic load from a daily supplement. For a pregnant woman who needs verified clean sourcing in everything she consumes. For an athlete who has spent years using one of the 7 brands above and is now making a different decision with better information in hand. This is what independent testing supports. The price is higher than everything on the avoid list. That is not a coincidence, and it is not just a margin decision. Independent third-party verification costs more than a brand simply telling you what it wants you to believe. The difference in price is the difference between knowing what is in the tub and assuming, where this leaves every tub on every counter. 7 brands, different price points, different packaging, different origin stories, and the same core failures appearing across all of them. Heavy metals in products consumed twice daily by people trying to build and repair their bodies. Protein content concerns that reached the level of federal litigation. Artificial sweeteners in formulas sold to the exact people recent research would suggest should be most cautious about them. 2 brands went through the independent process that exposes everything the others sidestepped. Thorne for Whey, Garden of Life Sport for plant-based. Independently tested, independently certified, ingredient list short enough to read before your pre-workout even kicks in. Before you close this tab, do 2 things. Send this video to one person who is using one of these products right now. They need to see it more than they need another sponsored discount code. And go look at the tub in your kitchen. Check for NSF Certified for Sport on the label. If it is not there, you are working from what the brand decided to tell you, not from independently verified results. Your body is doing the work every single day to build, repair, and recover. Make sure what you are putting into it is actually working with you, not against you in slow motion.